So welcome back to our YouTube clone video. We left off, hopefully, you're close to getting your MLab database up and running. Um, Now, you copied this right here. This is the URI for MLab, but you replaced your username and your password here. And then you just put it as a string inside of your config dev.js. So this keys, just to go over, there's always a node environment variable called node underscore env. And while we're in here, it's going to be development. If we put it on something like Heroku, it would be production. And Node automatically knows that. So for development, we're using these variables and we're going to keep them in our dev.js. And now they're personal variables that we don't want other people to see. So we put into our git ignore, we put dev.js in there. That way it won't get committed anywhere. But in our production, we just say process.environment, and we'll deal with that if we put this app on Heroku later on. So all you had to do was in your dev, set your dev.js up just like this, module that exports an object, mlab URI, and then a string that contains this with your username, your password that you set up here. Okay? Hopefully that works out. This is one way to store your environment variables. And then all you have to do in your root file here, your server file, just say require /config or /models. That's all you need. And then when you npm run server, there's our console log right there. Server connected to mlab. That callback function fires. As we set it up, that callback function fires. So this is our URI keys dot. So by requiring that keys file, it automatically runs that if production mode check. Since it's not production, it's development, it gives us the dev.js, and that's where we put our string. And use Mongo client true just keeps some depreciation warnings from showing up. So we say URI options callback, and then we called mongoose.connect, and this is what it takes. It takes the URI, it takes an options object, and a callback function. We put those all in. Then we just said mongoose.promise equals global.promise. That's just something you have to do for Mongoose for whatever reason. And then we said mongoose.set debug true. That's going to give us messages in the console when we interact with our database. So that's all set up. This video, we're going to work on our user model. So we did a user schema for our make-believe users over here. But now we're going to do a user model for what our real user might be like. Put this in the models folder. Again, user.js. I know we got a lot of files called user.js at this point, but at least we know where to look for user, right? So we say, import mongoose from mongoose. And we'll say schema equals mongoose. That's another object destructuring thing. We could take the brackets off and say const schema equals mongoose.schema. Same difference. Doesn't matter which way you do it. And we're going to say const user schema equals new schema. That's a function. It takes an object. And inside of this object is where we put our user properties. And so by default, Mongoose is going to put on an ID for us. We don't have to include the ID here. But we will use, say, username. We'll make that an object, and we'll say type string. We'll say unique true. Give our user an email. Make that unique as well. This is where we have to think of some things we might want our user to have. We don't have to come up with everything all at once. Just some basic stuff. Email, username. Let's see, we'll do a created on. That's going to be type date. We'll set a default value on that to date.now. That way, whenever an object's created, we get the date, exactly the time and date it was created. We'll also give our user, we'll give them, so we'll give a password. It'll be a string. Give them an image URL. That'll be a string. We're going to have videos. And now we'll just say it's just an array of strings. So we get a username, email, password, image URL for like an avatar or whatnot. Videos, or we'll deal with that later. Created on. Check my notes here if there's anything else I want to put in there. I think that looks good for now. Say const user equals mongoose. The model. I guess not model. User. User schema. And go to the Mongoose docs and check if it's model or models. I've been using Postgres database for like a week now, so I've already forgotten half of what I ever knew about Mongoose. Nope, that's right. Mongoose.model, name of the model, or name of the collection, and then the schema that it's based on. So in the database, it's going to be, this is going to be the collection, or the document, they call it. I guess this is the document, and this is the collection. I'm not sure of the exact terminology, but we'll create it in the next video.